We're glad that you could join us to watch our new podcast series, Spotlight on Senior Living. We worked really, really hard to put together an awesome list of guests, and we hope that you like them. Thanks for watching. Please share, like, and subscribe to our channel. Okay, let's go.
And good afternoon, Jules. How are you?
I'm well.
Good. Well, I'm so glad that you're here. Jules, prior to coming to Homewood Living, Jules was the director of sales for a major food company and joined Homewood Living first as the director of sales and marketing in Martinsburg, and then later became the director of sales and marketing for both Martinsburg and Spring House. So,
Yeah.
welcome. And
Thank you.
Jules, I have a question I am dying to ask you.
Okay.
All right. When I had the opportunity to work with you, the first thing I noticed about you is you had an uncanny way of changing a challenging personality to someone that, and you're smiling, and someone that you were able to work very well with. And I noticed that immediately. So I would like you to tell me how you did that. And I guess, what is your leadership style that enabled you to do that?
Yeah. Well, first, thank you for having me. And I think the most important thing is listening to people. Everyone has a different way of handling themselves. And once you know where they're coming from, that's where you need to meet them at. So I'm sort of kind of like a hands-off type of manager, but make sure they have all the tools that they can be successful and go from there.
It worked. And the other thing I was talking to Ronnie about was the first time that you went into a morning meeting, and you have this quiet confidence about you, but within minutes, I felt that you had established a relationship, and it was quite amazing to watch. So I wanted to give you that feedback.
Oh, thank you.
So following up on that, that's great, Jody. Great story. Can you share with us your personal story? How did you get where you are? What was the journey like?
It's been a long journey, friends. I actually was a single mom for about 7 years, got remarried, and I think being a single parent really pushed me out of my comfort zone. I've been in the sales and marketing aspect for over 30 years. And I think just being very caring and nurturing, that's me by nature, but also knowing that everybody comes from a different place. So I think me having a very small, I'd say, yeah, I guess a small career path I thought that I was going to be on. And it totally changed once I changed my mindset that pretty much what I want to do, I'm going to do. And I think I'm more resilient because of being a single parent, making sure I had to take care of both of my children. I had to earn a certain wage. I had to have benefits. So that pushed me a lot. And I think my kids are what pushed me out to where I am today.
Yeah, those kids have a way of doing that.
They do.
They kind of push you into what you know has to happen.
Yeah.
And I think it sounds like there was some toughness there and some challenges. So I guess I'd like to know, kind of on a personal side, were there moments where you felt vulnerable? And vulnerability is difficult for me because we like to appear tough all the time, but
Right.
can you share any of those with us?
Yeah, unfortunately, I worked for a narcissist at one point, years ago. And just getting through that emotionally and physically, without being scarred for life, which that showed me who I don't want to be. And I would never be that demeaning to someone else. I think that really showed me a side of like, I would never, you never want to see yourself in that light. And I think working for him made me a lot tougher. It made me stand alone. Sometimes you have to stand alone in a room, just to be heard, or, even come forward about, people not being treated correctly. And I think a lot of people respect me for that, especially the people that I stood up for when no one else could.
And Ronnie, I was listening to what you're saying, Jules. It sounds like you took something that was a negative experience, and instead of wallowing in it, which we tend to do sometimes, you turned that all around and made it almost a positive experience, because again, look where you are today.
Yeah. Yeah. It was challenging. I'll give you that. And there were times I went home and I cried and I'm like, I can't do this. And my husband's like, you're not doing this anymore. You're a strong person. We're going to get through this together. And we did. And a lot of people benefited from one person standing alone, telling the truth, telling the story.
Oh, wow. There's a story there. You just know there is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a whole episode on that.
That'll be a Netflix documentary.
Yeah.
That's going to be a
much.
coffee date.
That'll be a coffee date. So it's interesting because that staying on that theme, you were younger then, I take it, right? Much younger than you were today.
No, not necessarily. Probably about 5 years ago.
Oh, so it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
But that being said, what would be the best advice that you would give to a young man or woman, today?
I would probably say always be true to yourself. Don't compromise who you are and what you stand for, and always stand tall, and don't be afraid to reach out when you need help. Because I think a lot of kids are like, they're coming out of college. They don't really want to say, well, I don't know how to do that. Always ask questions, because if you have a good teacher or a leader, they want you to succeed.
Yeah, they do.
Because they're showing you how it should be done. Right.
Yeah. Great. That's a great piece of advice, because especially I think with today's young people coming out, sometimes they think they're more knowledgeable than they actually are. And they get into the role and all of a sudden they realize, and they don't know where to go. They don't know what to do with that. And I think that's great advice. Just ask. Everybody wants to help. Everybody wants to help you. So on that, when we think about that, you're probably in a role now where you're beginning to hire salespeople, and you probably have in your previous role. So can you give us a kind of a glimpse into what you would look for in a really talented salesperson?
I think the ability to be taught, the ability to listen. Listening is your number one thing. Jody and I talked about that a lot when she was here at Homewood Living. And I think just about your intentional caring about other people, because that's going to show through. It doesn't matter if you're touring, if you're sitting down having the pre-talk. It doesn't matter if you're out networking. If you have a pure heart and you care for other people, the sales are going to come.
Okay, cool. All right. I want to kind of move on to something a little bit more industry specific. So I think we're in a challenging industry. I mean, I have been in senior living since 1985. It's always been challenging. It changes every couple of years. So I think that where we are right now is as challenging a time as I've seen in all those years. So can you give us some thoughts that you might have about where you think senior living's going, what we should be thinking of, what might be some obstacles to prepare for?
Yeah, I mean, I've only been in senior living for almost 2 years, but it's still the same sales cycle as what anyone else would be. Senior living is an anomaly. I think that people wait way too long, and they miss the first part of independent living, and they have to go directly into assisted or skilled. I think we have to be talking to people a lot earlier, like right as they retire, making plans. I always tell people it's never too early to fill out an application. At least you'd be approved for that community. I think we need to shift instead of focusing just on 70 plus. I think we need to focus on 65 plus to get them motivated and interested and engaged in our communities sooner than later. And then they miss that whole independent living cycle.
So why do you think that is? Why do they not look at it at 65 and think, oh, this would be a great next step for me? What are we missing there?
I'm not sure personally, but I think that we really need to reach out to them sooner. People are staying in their homes longer. They're getting home health to come in and help. They're getting family members to build, onto their house for an in-law suite. There's different things that are coming into play that used to not be.
We definitely need to think about strategies for that. It's interesting that I remember the days when there weren't independent living yet. There weren't even really, assisted living was very new. And we were all very worried about why people were going to assisted living. And the goal in the company I was with then was to stop people from going to assisted living, instead of accepting the fact that that's the future, that's the road. And let's get on board and let's figure this out. And I have a feeling we're at the same place, but further down the road.
Yep.
So what
Right.
strategies do we need to look for in the future? So do you have any experience or any knowledge about the concept of the villages where a continuum care community might include everything: movie theaters, doctor's offices, a grocery store? What do you think about that?
I mean, I think it's a great idea. I don't know if people are going to be able to afford to live there if they have everything at their fingertips. Right now, I think the generation that's moving into independent living now, they are really focused on leaving a legacy for their kids instead of putting themselves first. And I've heard that probably within the last 6 months, I've probably heard that more than 20 times.
Wow. And yes, I can relate to that. I'm in that ballpark age that you talked about, but my mindset is I'm not leaving them anything. I mean,
Right.
but
You're going to spend it
Same,
all.
same.
and they appreciate that, and they expect that. They want us to live. So I think it's a conversation. You're right, Jules, that we have to educate the parents and the children, and the other thing, we've said this before, you and I have talked about at Homewood, you're coming there to live,
Yeah.
not to die. And I think
Right.
we're still fighting that image. So to hear you say it, really, that resonates with me, about leaving a legacy to the kids. So maybe we need to talk to those children.
Yeah.
And say,
Yeah.
Mom and Dad
we're-
worked hard for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
actually doing a lead gen event where we're going to focus on the children coming with their parents, and we're going to talk about it.
Oh, love it.
Are you going to be able to talk about that? Or the
Yes.
fact that,
Mhm.
what
Yeah.
you got, what you have right now to live for. And,
Yes.
and this is a great lifestyle
Mhm.
instead of trying to save it all and give it to them after you're gone. So,
Right. Yeah.
cool.
I love
Right.
that. I love that.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to, one of the things I also know about you, and I don't know a lot about you, Jules. I didn't get to work with you as closely as Jody did, but you're always working. You seem to be always working. We had a really interesting email conversation back and forth where you responded instantly to something I sent out, and you responded, well, yeah, I'm on vacation. I don't have 5,000 people calling me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
she's on vacation. I think it was a Sunday.
Yeah.
And can you share with us a little bit about how you achieve life work balance?
Well, I'm pretty much work balance. I squeeze a little life in there. But I when you love what you do, it's really not work, right? So I try to keep up with all my emails. I'd rather come back to 8 emails than 530 after being off for a week. So if I can respond quickly and still have my lifestyle, then I choose to do it that way.
You know, it sounds as if that's your, so you don't, I don't want to say you don't respond quickly because of the client, but you don't respond quick. You respond quickly because you need to get it off your plate. I need, if
Yes.
I can get done with this and move it on to the next thing, it's just the way you work. And and I
Yes.
really appreciated it. I thought it was a fascinating, quick response like that. So, so I want to talk a little bit, just a couple questions. I got to watch my time, but a couple questions, about you. And the way you just answered that last question leads me to, do you have any daily habits or daily rituals? Like, do you do the to-do list and all the things they tell us we're supposed to do?
I do. If
You
it's
share
not
that?
on my list, it doesn't happen.
Okay.
Yeah, I normally have a to-do list every morning. I sit down at night for the next day and make sure that I have everything lined up. I also have a weekly to-do list. So if I have things that are a couple of days out there and I can cross them off early, that's fine. But I think just being organized in your work life makes it a lot easier. And I'm old school. I still use a paper day timer. So I know, I know. I also
I
have it
do
on the
too.
computer, but I have to have that with me at all times.
I
And
knew
my
there was a
notebook.
reason why I loved you from the
Mhm.
beginning.
Yep.
Where is yours? She has this
mine's in
huge
the
day
car.
timer that she carries around with her. And I'm like, don't you have a phone? Don't you put all that stuff in your phone?
Don't trust it.
Yeah,
And I
same.
have all
I
three.
have mine in my phone too, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Never
you
know.
probably, I have a calendar on my desk, on my computer, and on my phone. So
Yeah,
I'm not
same.
sure it saved me anything.
Yeah.
Just ended
That's
up
all
doing
right.
it all. Do you have any other questions? Because I have one final one.
No, I mean, Jules, you've always been someone that intrigues me and motivates me. And although you said you've only been in healthcare for the couple of years, just the way you grabbed onto this industry and the way the industry has grabbed onto you and has recognized your talent, it just was a pleasure to be part of your beginning journey. And I love following you on Facebook and watching all the great things that you're doing at Homewood. So thank you for that.
No,
So
thanks,
the
Jody.
final question, Jules, that I have for you is, if you could go back in time and give one message to your younger self, what would it be?
I would probably say to myself, I'd give myself more grace.
Mm.
I would be more graceful with my own person. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to ask questions, and it's okay to be scared. So that's probably what I would say to my younger self.
Good, cool.
Right.
That's
Yes.
good advice. We could all use that. Well, Jules, Brat, we thank you so much for agreeing to do this podcast with us. We appreciate you. We're grateful for you, and we thank you very much for the time you spent with us today.
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
welcome.
Jules.
Well, that does it. We hope that you liked it. If you did, please share it with everyone, put it on your Facebook page, subscribe to our newsletter, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.